We're sitting at 18. We're sitting at 18. He just said euphoria feels further and further away, but I think it can't come any closer, okay? It's coming. You see this right here? You see this at point 0.87? This is almost higher than the tariffs. Okay, and I think the tariffs is actually worse. He was beefing with every single country, okay? This is marching to the upside. I want to see this at 1. Okay, and the reason I want to see this at 1 is because you're going to get people believing this is over. Okay, so I think we may have one more dump. We may have one more big pullback on the way. I mean, that makes sense. Just to put this at, people thinking this is over. We're never, Q's going to 500. We never making new all-time highs. I can't wait. I think that's the scenario that's going to end up playing out here very, very soon. I want to see this at 1. Okay, I really do. I want to see this at 1. I think it'll get there. That's where the tariff lows was at 1, and then we had that massive $60 day on the Qs, and just pure bullishness after the fact for for like 6 months until October 2025. We had just pure bullishness. Okay, so I want to see this play out again. I think we can get to 1. I think a little dip is on the way. Okay, if first of all, if you're doing well in this market right now, like if you're actually making some money, pat yourself on the back, man. Just congratulate yourself, because this isn't like an easy type of market. I mean, unless you're in WAM or something, unless you're getting into some of the stuff we're getting into, just pure easy stuff, man. Like, just easy stuff. Tesla today for 57%, some other stuff, but unless you just mess with one. But this is a harder type of market, just because like we've been stuck in we don't have a clear direction. It's really like a day trading, scalp. You kind of got to know what you're doing like a little bit. We're not just going in a straight line up, but this is actually where you want to survive, okay? Because the straight line to the upside is going to come, okay? It's not happening right now. We are in a huge chop area since, like I said, since October, November, where we topped out. If some of you guys remember, we topped out, and we've just been consolidating this entire time, okay? But once we get this pullback to maybe 1, okay, we'll be monitoring it. That's why you want to thumbs up this video. That's why you want to like this video. That's why you want to like this live. That's why you want to subscribe. That's why you want to follow, because we're going to be updating you, and we're going to let you know when the perfect time to be buying these dips are, okay? To be looking at some stuff. I actually think it could be now. I think there could be one more dip, but we'll talk about it, okay? We'll talk about it. But yes, we are in a massive consolidation period, so just pat yourself on the back, okay? This has been going on for quite some time now, okay? Now, there is great plays daily. This has been going on for almost 160 days. Nasty work, okay? Just nasty work. But anyways, put in the comments what stocks you guys want to look at, and we shall look at them, okay? What we have to do for transfer, I have no idea what you're talking about. What's your methodology? What is going on in here, man? What do you guys think this is? What do you guys think this is? We're going to be looking at some stocks, okay? Let's look at some individual things. Okay? Coin, MSTR was a great ride down today. It definitely was. Bitcoin got smacked in the neck. I mean, a lot of stuff got smacked in the neck when you really looked at it. I think it can continue. Now, I do want to see what we do, right here. I don't want to jump the gun too soon, just because, we have just been sitting here and consolidating this entire time. So we don't want to be max bearish just yet. Below 592, that'll bring us some good things, and then you get that retest, and et cetera. And I do think we could potentially have another move to the downside, because like I said, I want to see this at 1. I want to see max fear in the market. I want to see max pain. I want to see some people thinking we're never gonna go back up, kind of like what we saw in tariffs. And I think that next leg down could do it. It could do it. Will it happen? We'll be paying attention. But I do know these are very nasty wicks. You're getting some lower high type of action, and usually a slip and slide could potentially happen. So that's what I'm paying attention to. But like I said, there's great plays to catch every single day. It's quad witching Friday. You're absolutely correct. So there should be a lot of volatility. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to come in here and max bear you guys. Like, the max bear could happen next week, or we could bottom. Like, I don't know. Like, we are at 0.87. Like, we are, like, there's a lot of fear, but like, let's just pay attention, because we know for a fact. Let me stop. Let me stop. We have a very good analysis, okay? We have a very good analysis that we do see all-time highs, okay? And I think we do have a very euphoric period coming up, okay? outside of what's happening right here. Okay. Anyways, you guys want to look at coin? I see a lot of people that want to look at coin. I absolutely love Coinbase and I absolutely love Circle. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys why. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys why. Because we have all these big banks. We have the smartest people in the world predicting that AI agent transactions are gonna be more AI agent transactions than there would be, I believe, humans or something that they said like that. Okay, and what benefits from that the most is stable coins. And then Coinbase said they're gonna build the infrastructure for that to take place as well. So I'm actually very bullish on something like Coinbase. But what you got to make sure you're paying attention to now is, how is crypto doing, how is Bitcoin doing, etc. And right now you're actually getting a double top that you're seeing right here. Like you don't want to be max bullish right here in a rejection zone. Okay, that's where we're sitting on in Coinbase right now. This is where you get the rejection zone. Okay, this is where price needs to get above. It needs to hold above 216 for then you to start retesting some higher levels. Maybe 230 and then back to around 260. Okay, but I do believe crypto has a massive leg to the upside coming. It's just a matter of getting a good entry on some of this stuff. Okay, and the reason I'm saying that is because if you haven't been paying attention to the markets, what is happening is that you got the gold. We have Trump. Trump paid the people in gold. Okay, he's paying the people. He paid the people in gold. Okay, now you see gold dumping, and gold is gonna. This is done. Okay, don't like I said in the last live. Okay, somebody asked me, what do you think about gold? I said, if you're buying gold, you're gonna be absolutely wrong. Okay, you just are. You're just gonna be wrong because gold is done. Okay, nobody should be getting into gold. I hope this gets one more pop to the upside so I can short it. Okay, because what's happening now is money's getting rotated into oil. Okay, it's getting rotated into different commodities, oil now. So you have oil potentially doing what gold just did, right? Going absolutely nuclear, and I think oil could potentially continue to move to the upside, probably like 140, 150 ish. Okay, then what happens after that? You're gonna get that absolutely amazing short on something like oil, and then what's gonna happen after that is then Trump is gonna pay out them Bitcoin boys. Okay, he's gonna pay out some of them crypto boys. Okay, so I believe crypto is gonna end up doing what gold and oil and obviously it's gonna rotate back into the Nasdaq and S&P after this oil situation is done because all the money's getting taken out of gold, all the money's getting taken out of silver, all the money's getting taken out of oil, and then it's going to get dispersed back into crypto and back into the Nasdaq, and we're going to see this whole situation play out. That is my thesis of what's going to end up happening to the broader market. Okay, so I'm very interested in something like Coinbase. It's just a matter of getting in a good position, and I don't think this is a good entry at all because you're buying you weren't buying down here. You're buying up here at 216 where it rejects. So if I was looking at it, I would obviously want this. The best entry that you could possibly get is back down to 168. I doubt it gets there. Who knows? But 176, and then maybe even like 187. Okay, I like 187. If it doesn't bounce at 187, then you're looking at 176. So I wouldn't even be looking to get calls on something like Coinbase until you can get back to around right here, okay? And then you could get a better entry, and I'm talking about like some December calls or something like that. But the real strength, anyways, is in something like Circle, okay? What I would rather be in, anyways, is something like Circle, okay? Circle is literally backed by the Treasury. Like they have so many good things going for something like Circle, and this is the AI agent platform that I believe is gonna outperform. I think it can outperform Coinbase. I really do. Okay, it's hard. We've been talking about this since 109, and it got a weekly close above 117. Hit the first target at 137. The second target is to 180, and then back to all time highs, etc. But I'd rather look at something like Circle over Coinbase. So I'm looking for any Circle pullback. So that's what I think. Anyways, what's the difference between day trading and stock market trading? You could day trade in the stock market. But if you're a beginner, I wouldn't even recommend day trading. Okay, there's some things you gotta bypass first before you get to that level. I'm talking about stuff that this is the live where we just look at stuff, so I'm not gonna go over it. But yeah. How about SLV? Same thing. SLV is the same thing. Okay, I think silver's done. Gold is done. I mean, you can see what I said on here. Like, if people, somebody asked me if I was bullish on it, and I said if it could get above 81, you better hope and pray it could get above 81, because that'll, that's the level you need. And it never got above 81. It actually rejected it really hard. And this is garbage. This is garbage. Okay, don't get into silver. Wait for any pop to the upside, short it. Silver's done. I wouldn't look at silver at all. Upstart. Let's look at Upstart. Garbage. Garbage. I don't want to look at it. Garbage. Garbage. I actually kind of liked Upstart, but as soon as it couldn't hold above $41, like you see right here, it became garbage. Okay, so what do you think about Amazon? Let's look at Amazon. Like I don't want to look at stocks like that for too long, just because like they're garbage. They're garbage. Like it's gonna need we're gonna need a massive rally for a lot of those stocks to start doing something. Okay, but if we look at something like Amazon. If we look at something like Amazon, the main thing that I'd start focusing on if I wanted this to get back to a new high, is for it to start trading back above 215. Okay, you need it to get above 215, and it hasn't gotten above there in a while now, since the beginning of March. Okay, so above 215, then it can start retesting the 220s, etc. But right now, this is really just stuck in a range, so I'd anticipate this to go back down to 206. Okay, 206. A break below 206, this I think this will break below the trend, okay? Short term, okay? But bigger picture, okay? Bigger picture, this is actually in a massive buying area, okay? As long as it can hold above 199, that's where it bounced from. And it's also, like, if we get closed right here on the monthly, and you get 12 days of just kind of chop, etc., you're gonna end up with a monthly hidden divergence. So I like Amazon, okay, but the thing that usually plays out as well for a lot of these stocks is that once you get these earnings dumps, like this thing dumped hard for earnings, very rarely do you get that V shape. Okay, a lot of people expect like a V shape from these great companies, but what ends up happening is not the V shape, but a lot of playing around for a little bit, okay, where it goes up, down, so look for something like that. And the same thing with Microsoft, okay? A lot of people were expecting like a V shape for something like Microsoft, when it had that big old gap down, okay? And what you get is it playing around for a little bit, okay? So that's what I'll be focusing on for Amazon, is for it to play around. Today, Amazon was at 215. Exactly, and that was the rejection. That's why if you were longing Amazon today, you were probably wrong. And that's why, you got to tap in. You got to make sure you're tapped into people who know what they're talking about. Like, we caught Tesla for 57% today, okay? We caught, IWM 67% yesterday. Monday, 45%. Like, and this isn't like a super banger type of market just yet, okay? Or it wasn't last week. Last week was a super banger. You getting anything almost and be up 500%. Okay, right now is where you take your 60, take your 70. Okay, maybe you can get into some puts and do your thing. Okay, but really you want to make sure you're getting in and out. And we've been going crazy. Okay, like the accuracy, I don't man. Yeah, the only thing I missed on here is CRWV, because we hit on SMCI. NBIS last week. Amazon, this is all on Friday. 100% on Amazon. BABA, like, just insane accuracy is happening in here, okay? BMNR. All right. QQQQ, NBIS. Let's look at, I don't really want to look at Riot just because it's not doing anything. Like, it's just sitting here. It's just sitting here, so I'm not interested in it. I'm not interested in it just yet, okay? I'm just not. But it's doing what it's supposed to do, and it's actually holding up very strong considering what's happening in the markets right now. Okay, and like I said, money's gonna end up getting rotated heavily into crypto. You just gotta wait. Okay, Trump is paying out everyone. Like I said, the gold and silver he paid out. Now the oil, he's gonna pay them out. Crypto is after, okay? He's gonna pay you out. You just gotta wait for this oil stuff to calm down and for people to make money on oil, and then you short oil, and then you get into crypto, and then, the end of the cycle, it's done, okay? Recession. Then it's done, recession. It's been dead for a minute. Like this isn't really something that I'll be focusing on, okay? Right now, the main focus is is getting in. If we're chopping, okay, first of all, if we're chopping and you know we're chopping, and this is why understanding market context is very, very important. And this is why some people just haven't been doing well. If you know we're chopping, you don't really want to mess with, you don't, first of all, you can't really swing. That's for one. You can't, it's very hard to swing trade. Second of all, you want to mess with higher volatility type of things, okay? If not, you're gonna be stuck in a crazy chop. And by high volatility things, I mean, stuff like app, stuff that moves very well. This thing went from 408 to 420. Over here, MU or high volatility type of things because stocks are moving. But if you're messing with Riot or you're messing with like I don't know OKTA and this had actually a decent move, like you're gonna end up getting chopped. Like SoFi, like you're gonna end up getting chopped. And I actually like SoFi, but it's only really good in a non-choppable market, in a market that's moving to the upside. Okay. So focus on that, okay? Like I'm not looking at any my boy Pablo here. I'm not looking at any smaller cap type of things just yet, okay? I do believe the market is going to end up getting rotated into, but you got to be patient for those things. You got to be patient. Double tap the screen. Yes. My boy Miggy in here, man. What's up, Miggy? Let's get the 3K like. You want to look at NBIS? Put in the comments of stocks you guys want to look at. We'll look at them. I like NBIS. I believe they had like a convertible like bond thing or something that actually happened to it. So, I like it, but this thing is already gone. Huge partnerships, I don't, like, nah, I'm all right. Wow, I blew my account like twice already. Hey, man, this is a tough market, man. Iron, I want to look at Iron. I think Iron is absolutely garbage. I think Iron is due for a very big pullback. Okay, I don't think this thing is gonna reach back to all-time highs just based on like I think they're selling, like this thing is heavily manipulated now. The level, if you want to be bullish on something, if you want to be bullish on Iron, okay, if you want to be bullish on Iron, you need it to have a weekly close above $44, okay, which it has not had since February, since the beginning of February 9th, okay? Really, the beginning of February, okay? And if you guys remember anything, I was literally telling you back in January to short this, okay? This is the victim level, and I said that time and time again way back when, okay? This is the victim level. Now, this stock, I believe, like the last chance that this will end up getting is if you want to get it back at $25, okay? I think that's the last opportunity. And if it doesn't get it to 20, if it doesn't bounce at $25, things going. You got to remember, this is a $6 stock. Like, this is a $5 stock. Okay, now they're selling. Now they're selling on you. Okay, now this thing is being manipulated to where it's like like I know a lot of people like this stock. I know a lot of people are probably trapped in this stock with equity, but I think it's done. I don't think you need it. If you want to be bullish, just wait for a weekly close above 44. Okay, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you. If you want to be bullish on Iron, wait for a weekly, wait to see what it can do, at this weekly close, see if it can hold above the weekly at 44 and go from there, okay? But if not, and I was actually bullish for it right here. Like, we actually made some money on this run, and I was like, okay, you definitely want to get out right here. And the reason you wanted to get out right here, like, I could just show you guys, just so you could come over here and do it for yourself sometimes, is that you just draw the fib from the top to the bottom right here, right? From this swing high to this swing low, okay? Because it bottomed out right here and consolidated for a little bit. And then you could have been like, okay, this is the victim level, okay? This is the 618 level. This is where, I don't want to be bullish right here because, like I said, this is the victim level. This is V, capital V. And it wicked right there a bunch of times, and then, it dropped over $20. I think another big drop is coming for something like Iron, but it might chop you for a little bit. But if you're bullish, wait for a weekly close above 44. Super bullish on Iron, but have sold calls on it, so working well. Yeah, that could work. APLD, let's look at APLD. Light is going absolutely crazy. APLD, same sort of thing, okay? It was the same thing. Victim level, I think the buying area is around $16. And if you guys know me at all, we were telling you to buy this at $10 back in July 2025, okay? Back when it was like $10 and, it was around here. Then it went all the way to 40, okay? I think this is going to end up getting to $16, and then that'll probably be a good buying area for, the next big run, and maybe 55. Like I said, I think a very euphoric period is coming for the market. It's just going to take, it's going to, It's gonna need this to get to 1. Okay, it's gonna need. Man, I hope this gets to 3. I hope this gets to 3. You understand? Oh man, where do you go? I hope this gets to 3. Okay, and if you guys remember back in April tariffs, back when April tariffs was happening, this was at 3. Like this was at like 2, and we still had people saying, "Man, I'm about to get puts. I'm gonna get some puts." This is at 2. It was at 2, and so like people were like, "Man, I'm still bearish." It was at 2. Okay, so I'm hoping this gets to 2. Okay, now will it? We'll be paying attention. I'm hoping this gets to 1. Will it? I'll be paying attention. As long as the markets are volatile, I think that's the best thing. Hood looks like it's about to nosedive. It just might. It just might. I mean, it just might. It just might. I think there's a swoop come for it, and Hood wasn't even moving with Bitcoin. Like I was actually very surprised. Very surprised Hood wasn't even moving with Bitcoin. I think something like this could play out for Robinhood. Sort of like what you had right here. Like that one little more leg that you got to the downside. Like maybe that could happen. I'm paying attention to it, but I think Hood is bullish long. Like I said, I think markets are very bullish, but it needs to come down maybe a bit more. We'll be like, you know, we'll be paying attention. Okay, if you're in the Discord, you already know what we're gonna end up getting into. We're gonna come with the best plays, etc., the most accurate plays, and we're gonna make you guys some money. So don't be scared. Okay, don't be scared. We're gonna get you guys some money, but yeah. In the meantime, be careful. Okay, be careful. I will talk to you guys in the next live show. I'll talk to you guys in the next live show. Have a blessed night. I hope you guys got something from this. Okay. The next live will be Sunday. We looked at coin. ARM is actually very strong for whatever reason. But this is the level that needs to break above for it to start going back to 140s. I like it. I like ARM. If it can break out from here, it's going to 140. I like it. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later, man. I'm out. Peace.